The ninth Raisina Dialogue in New Delhi brought together over 2,500 participants from more than 100 countries. To be more specific, 115 countries, 115 countries. Under the name Chaturanga, conflict, contest, cooperate and create. And there were 6 thematic pillars which were focused on the technology, sustainability, conflict, international institution, the future development agenda and the defending democracy. The Greece Prime Minister emphasized about the strengthening bilateral relations and doubling trade by 2030. So hello everyone, welcome to the 𝐿𝐷+ Academy of Civil Services, a premier organization for preparation of civil services exam. In today's News in Focus video session, we will discuss about the 9th edition of Raisina Dialogue in detail. And it is relevant to exam, especially for prelims and GS paper 2, and topics are bilateral, regional and global grouping and agreements involving India and or affecting India's interests, current affairs of importance and prelims theme-based question on such conferences. So let's quickly jump to the context. Recently, the 9th edition of Raisina Dialogue took place in New Delhi. Over 2,500 participants from approximately more than 100 countries, or to be a little more specific, 115 countries participated in the conference. And the participants included ministers, former heads of states, heads of government, military commanders, captains of industry, technology, leaders, or academics, persons from media, journalists, scholars, experts from think tanks and youth. So these were the participants. Greece Prime Minister Mitsotakis joined the inauguration session as a chief guest, and Mitsotakis highlighted that the bilateral relations and the aim to double trade by 2030 by emphasizing on the mutual investment and infrastructure development. देखिए, इसके थीम के बारे में हमने ऑलरेडी बात कर ली थी. दिस जो 9th एडिशन है राइसिना डायलॉग का एज ए थीम ऑफ चतुरंगा, विच इंक्लूड्स कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, 4 C's: conflict, contest, cooperate and create. And the decision makers and thought leaders of the world engage with each other on 6 thematic pillars related to the technology, sustainability, conflict management, multilateralism, development and the democracy. To be specific, these 6 pillars are tech frontiers. I'm taking word to word, which is mentioned in the Raisina official Dialogue's official site. Tech frontier, regulations and realities, peace with the planet, invest and innovate. This is about the sustainable development. War and peace, right? So armories and asymmetries are in focus in this thematic pillar. Decolonizing the multilateralism. So there are institutions which still have shadow of colonialism. So the focus should be on to decolonizing that multilateral institutions. So the theme is focus is institutions and the inclusive nature of those institutions. Post 2030 agenda, people and progress. So after 2030, what would be the focus? People and progress, right? And the last thematic pillar is defending democracy. So it's all about sovereignty and focus on the society. So these are the 6 main pillars under the Chaturanga theme. So let's first understand what is a Raisina Dialogue, right? So before going ahead with the Raisina Dialogue, let's first understand about the �𝐤𝐻 test series. So this is one important announcement for all those aspirants who are appearing in the prelims 2024 examinations that is going to held in May. So 𝐿𝐷+ Academy has came up with the 𝐤𝐻 test series. It's an all India test series program. The comprehensive test series is designed by the subject matter expert, and this will offer you various benefits like 49 test papers, that is 4,900 high quality questions, right? And there will be 10 recorded discussion classes which will help you to analyze deep about your strengths, about your weakness areas, so you can understand them and work on them. And if you are not satisfied with the quality of these tests or the test series questions, so your money will be returned. So there's a money back guarantee also there. So other benefits include it will help you to mimic the actual prelims experience. So it will be kind of realistic exam simulations, right? And the practice would be time bound. That mirrors the actual exam format. So this test series is a shortcut to prelims confusion, and you can enroll in this test series and take a step further towards your IAS dreams. So you can visit Aptplus Academy's website. You can click on the link given in the description of this video, or you can find the QR code on the screen. You can scan that for the registration purposes. Right, now let's move to the Raisina Dialogue. What is a Raisina Dialogue? So this Raisina Dialogue is India's flagship conference, annual conference. Remember the word annual conference on the geopolitics and geoeconomics. And the aim is to address the most challenging global issues, right? And it is structured among the lines of Shangrila Dialogue. So Shangrila Dialogue भी इसी तरह की conference होती है, तो उसी के basis पे it has been organized in India annually. It is considered the component of India's intelligence diplomacy. ठीक है, हमें पता है कि इंडिया डिप्लोमेसी के फ्रंट पे अच्छा काम कर रही है, आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के फ्रंट पे अच्छा काम कर रही है, एंड पीपल नो इट. बट अबाउट द इंटेलिजेंस डिप्लोमेसी most of people are not aware of. So it is a component of India's intelligence diplomacy, and this also plays a crucial role in national security framework, right? And obviously the Raisina Dialogue is taking place in New Delhi, and it is attended by the people from political, business, media, civil society backgrounds, right? We have already discussed that. Now this dialogue is structured as a multi-stakeholder cross-cultural discussions, राइट जो हेड ऑफ स्टेट्स हैं, कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स हैं, लोकल गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स हैं, दे विल बी इन्वॉल्व इन द क्रॉस सेक्टोरल डिस्कशन, यानी अलग अलग सेक्टर्स के रिलेटेड डिस्कशंस में इन्वॉल्व होंगे. सो मल्टी सेक्टर अप्रोच है ही, right? And along with those government officials, various leaders from the academia, media and private sector will also be included in such discussions, right? And there is one think tank in Delhi based think tank named Observer Research Foundation. So this think tank in partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs host the conference, right? So this is the basic of the Raisina Dialogue, might appear in the exam. So let's understand briefly about the key points of the summit. First is, it talks about, as we already mentioned, that it talks about the geopolitical shifts, right? So discussions are going on this issue, right? So there are evolving power dynamics between major players like United States, China, Russia and the European countries. And there are various new challenges are emerging. Along with the challenges, there are new opportunities are emerging. So discussions should be revolved around this. So discussions on the geopolitical shifts. Second, India as a bridging power, as coined by the Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Why India is being called as a bridging power, right? So because India is seeking, common ground. There are various issues and challenges between different countries. So India is seeking a common ground through a multi-vector policy, and it is playing a role of Vishwamitra. Vishwa means globe, Mitra means friend. So Vishwamitra means a friend of the world, right? And in this discussion, the emphasis was also on the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. So Greek Prime Minister spoke about the importance of such connectivity projects, right? And there is one more important thing about Raisina Dialogues this year, Baltic Nordic Forum. यानी कि ये वो पार्ट है यूरोप का जो जनरली इग्नोर किया जाता है, इन सॉफ्टली ओवरलुक्ड, बट इकोनॉमिकली कम्पिटिटिव है, सेंट्रल और ईस्टर्न यूरोप का पार्ट है. सो ए मिनिस्टेरियल कंटिजेंट from this part, Central and Eastern Europe part, named Baltic Nordic Forum, was also participated in the Raisina Dialogue, right? So we already know that there is a Russia-Ukraine war is going on, the global conflict is going on. So this dialogue talked about the discussions centered around the grey warfare and such Russia and Ukraine conflict, the need to solve such kind of conflicts, and the presence of India was requested in such kind of discussions, right? So in particularly the countries urged India to join a peace conference in Switzerland. This is going to be held shortly at the request of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, right? The UN Security Council also was discussed, like it should be the membership or representation of UN Security Council should be more representative, more inclusive, right? Because there is inequality at the top of UN Security Council and need for reform is required. There is need for reform, right? And there are other various issues which were discussed in this Raisina Dialogue. One related to the regional security concerns, like for different reasons, because there are tensions in regions like Indo-Pacific, Middle East, Eastern Europe. So such kind of discussions were held, that how to manage those conflicts, how to build peace, how to make efforts to manage such regional rivalries, right? And the technology and innovation part was also discussed, and the topics are, quite common, like cybersecurity, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, and what would be their implication for the national security, right? So this is all about the Raisina Dialogue. So let's understand prelims year questions was appeared in the prelims 2016. So the question says, with reference to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, consider the following statement. So two statements are given, right? So the Trans-Pacific Partnership were in news. तो कुछ भी कॉन्फ्रेंस होती हैं, पार्टनरशिप्स होती हैं, डिक्लेरेशंस होती हैं जो न्यूज़ में होती हैं, यूपीएससी जनरली क्वेश्चन पूछ लेता है, सीधे सीधे स्टेटमेंट्स देता है. सो देयर वर टू स्टेटमेंट्स और ऑप्शंस नीचे दिए गए हैं, एंड इट आस्क्स विच ऑफ द स्टेटमेंट्स गिवन अबव इज और करेक्ट. आपके लिए ऑप्शंस दिए हैं A, B, C, D. You have to answer it. Just take a pause of 10 to 15 seconds or 20 seconds. Read the statements carefully and try to answer it. I'll tell you answer after that. So I hope you have paused the video and discussed the statement and understood them and answered. So the correct answer is D, neither one and not two. So if you read the Trans-Pacific Partners, you would understand that both the statements given are not correct. There are various conferences in the world which are happening over security issues and various humanity issues to deepen the democracies, and there are various organizations also tested. But there are few conferences, forums or dialogues which are important, and UPSC generally asks questions about them. So one such organization is ORF, Observer Research Foundation, a independent think tank which is responsible or which hosts the Raisina Dialogue, and there are various other important dialogues. So we will look those dialogues in detail in today's News in Focus session. So hello everyone, welcome to the FT Plus Academy of Civil Services, a premier organization for preparation of civil services exams. So in today's News in Focus video session, we will discuss about the Observer Research Foundation and other important dialogues and forums which will be useful for coming prelims exams. So as we already told you, UPSC asks statements about such organizations like ORF, Shangrila Dialogue, and various other forums and conferences. So in today's session, we'll cover these. Right? So let's begin. So this is important for prelims, GS paper 2 especially. So the important dialogues, first is Munich Security Conference. So as the name suggests, the Munich Security Conference held annually in the Munich, Germany. This MCC is one of the most prominent forum for discussing the internal security policies, right? So it is an annual gathering of world leaders, policymakers, diplomats, military officials are also included, security experts, because the focus is international security policy, right? So note some couple of things which may be useful. So it was founded in 1963, right? And was later renamed as Munich Security Conference. ठीक है, पहले इसका जर्मन में कुछ अलग नाम था, ठीक है, जिसको it was similar to Defense Policy Seminar, right? So 1963 में अगर फाउंड हुआ है तो it was originated during the Cold War era. वो पूरा एक Cold War era था, right? And annual है, ये आप ध्यान रखिएगा, annual conference है, और कहाँ लोकेशन क्या है इसकी, म्यूनिक जर्मनी है, और टॉपिक मेन फोकस इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी पॉलिसी. बट टू बी स्पेसिफिक अगर हम बात करें तो रिलेटेड टू द ग्लोबल सिक्योरिटी विच इंक्लूड्स जियोपॉलिटिकल टेंशंस, न्यूक्लियर डिसआर्मामेंट, टेररिज्म, cyber threats, regional conflicts, right? So these agendas are dynamic and they respond to the current and emerging security challenges. One is Munich Security Conference. Let's come to the second important dialogue, that is Shangrila Dialogue by IISS. So this Shangrila Dialogue is organized by the International Institute for Strategic Studies. एक बार मैं फिर से बोल देता हूँ, International Institute for Strategic Studies, and this is also an annual dialogue which is held in Singapore. ठीक है, The focus area is security issues in the Asia Pacific region. So it is this dialogue, Shangrila Dialogue is Asia's premier defense summit है ये, ठीक है. Intergovernmental Security Forum है और it is held annually by a London based independent think tank. तो जो IISS है, this is a London based independent think tank, ठीक है. यहाँ पर मिनिस्टर जो भी करंट में मोस्ट प्रेसिंग मोस्ट कंसर्निंग जो सिक्योरिटी चैलेंजेस होते हैं उसके बारे में डिबेट करते हैं. इंपॉर्टेंट बायलैटरल टॉक्स भी हेल्ड की जाती हैं, यहाँ पे होती हैं, होस्ट की जाती हैं, एंड दे कम अप विद द फ्रेश सॉल्यूशंस टुगेदर, राइट. फर्स्ट टाइम इट वाज लॉन्च्ड, द शैंग्रीला डायलॉग वाज लॉन्च्ड इन 2002 और जो सिंगापुर में होता है और उस होटल का नाम है शैंग्रीला होटल, उसके बेसिस पे ये नाम दिया गया शैंग्रीला डायलॉग. राइसिना डायलॉग जैसे हमने देखा था उसमें क्यों राइसिना डायलॉग क्यों नाम दिया है, क्योंकि राइसिना हिल्स जो प्रेसिडेंट का जो होम है वो है राइसिना हिल्स, तो इंडिया में हो रहा है तो राइसिना डायलॉग, सिमिलरली शैंग्रीला डायलॉग. सो इसे ट्रैक वन इंटर गवर्नमेंटल सिक्योरिटी फोरम, ठीक है. ओरिजिनली इसको कहा जाता था एशिया सिक्योरिटी समिट, राइट. और उस टाइम नीड क्या थी, जब एशिया पैसिफिक के डिफेंस मिनिस्टर्स आपस में मिल सकें, जहाँ पे दे कैन एंगेज इन डायलॉग्स, एंड एम क्या था, टू बिल्ड कॉन्फिडेंस एंड फोस्टरिंग प्रैक्टिकल कोऑपरेशन विद ईच अदर. तो इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में, इस बैकड्रॉप में ये शुरू हुआ था 2002 में विद द नेम एशिया सिक्योरिटी समिट. नाउ इट्स नोन एज शैंग्रीला डायलॉग, राइट. थर्ड पे बात करते हैं. द थर्ड इज ऑस्लो फ्रीडम फोरम, right. It is an annual, again this is an annual conference based on the human rights, democracy and freedom, right. So it brings together activists, journalists and the policymaker to share different ideas and strategies for advancing human rights globally. So Oslo Freedom Forum, OFF, is a kind of series of global conferences run by the New York based non-profit organization that is Human Rights Foundation, and this OFF was founded in 2009 as a one-time event. यानी कि पहले सिर्फ एक बार का ही इवेंट था कि चलो कर लेते हैं, लेकिन इसकी इतनी अच्छी सक्सेस, इतना अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स मिला, नाउ इट इज़ हेल्ड एनुअली, ठीक है. अगेन उसमें भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स कौन होते हैं, हेड ऑफ स्टेट्स, विनर्स ऑफ द नोबेल पीस प्राइज, प्रिजनर्स ऑफ कंसाइंस, अदर पब्लिक फिगर्स होते हैं, ठीक है. दे एक्सचेंज आइडिया अबाउट द ह्यूमन राइट्स एंड expose the dictatorship, because it's all about the freedom forum, Oslo Freedom Forum. There are couple of more important dialogues also, or forums. One is Halifax International Security Forum. It was founded in 2011. बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में ना नहीं पढ़े तो भी चलेगा, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें you just remember. So founded in 2011, also referred to as Halifax Forum or HFX. Focus area again internal security, located in Washington DC, United States of America, ठीक है. तो वही इंडिपेंडेंट है, नॉन पार्टीसन, नॉन प्रॉफिट फोरम है, और इट इंक्लूड्स गवर्नमेंट ऑफिशियल्स, मिलिट्री ऑफिशियल्स, academia experts, authors and entrepreneurs, right. And it is best known for its annual security summit जो कहाँ होती है, वेस्टर्न नोवा स्कॉटियन इन द हैलिफैक्स, नोवा स्कॉटिया, कनाडा, राइट. कनाडा में होती है ये. अच्छा, तो इतनी इम्पोर्टेंट है वहाँ के क्योंकि इसको दावोस ऑफ इंटरनेशनल सिक्योरिटी भी कहा जाता है. दावोस फोरम के बारे में आपने सुना होगा, जो कहाँ पे हर साल होता है, वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम का जो इवेंट है दावोस में होता है, ये होता है स्विट्जरलैंड में, ठीक है, दावोस स्विट्जरलैंड में. सो इट इज़ कॉल्ड द हैलिफैक्स इंटरनेशनल सिक्योरिटी फोरम, इज कॉल्ड द दावोस ऑफ इंटरनेशनल सिक्योरिटी, राइट. सिमिलरली एक दोहा फोरम भी है, ठीक है. इट इज़ अ ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म फॉर डायलॉग bringing together leaders in policies to discuss the various critical challenges जो भी वर्ल्ड फेस कर रहा है. एनुअली हेल्ड किया जाता है इस दोहा में, जो कतर की कैपिटल सिटी है, फ्रॉम द 2003, और अंडर द बैनर डिप्लोमेसी, डायलॉग एंड डाइवर्सिटी. तो वही इंटरचेंज ऑफ आइडियाज एंड डिस्कोर्स टुवर्ड्स पॉलिसी मेकिंग एंड एक्शन ओरिएंटेड रिकमेंडेशंस, ठीक है. तो दोहा फोरम के बारे में बस इतना ही है. एक है वालदाई डिस्कशन क्लब, ये मॉस्को बेस्ड थिंक टैंक है, डिस्कशन फोरम है, 2004 में एस्टेब्लिश हुआ था. इट इज़ नेम्ड आफ्टर द, वहाँ पे जो लेक है, लेक वालदाई, तो उसी के बेसिस पे नाम है वालदाई डिस्कशन क्लब, ठीक है. सो मोर देन थाउजेंड्स ऑफ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स ऑफ इंटरनेशनल स्कॉलरली कम्युनिटी फ्रॉम मोर देन 80 कंट्रीज, 85 कंट्रीज, दे टेक पार्ट इन द क्लब्स एक्टिविटी. एनुअल मीटिंग होता है जनरली, और डिस्कशन क्या होता है ऑन द सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ वेरियस इंटरनेशनल कंसर्न्स, राइट. ये भी काफ़ी प्रेस्टिजियस डिस्कशन क्लब है, वर्ल्ड. Now let's understand about the one organization which is in News Observer Research Foundation. ये न्यू दिल्ली का इंडिपेंडेंट थिंक टैंक है, ठीक है जी. और कब फाउंड हुआ था, ये कब एस्टेब्लिश हुआ था, इन 1990, ठीक है. 4 मेट्रो सिटी में इसकी प्रेजेंस है, यानी कि हेडक्वार्टर्स हैं, बेस्ड है दिल्ली में, और बाकी 3 सेंटर्स कहाँ पे हैं, 1 इज़ इन कोलकाता, 2nd इज़ इन मुंबई एंड 3rd इज़ इन चेन्नई. So it seeks to lead and aid the policy thinking towards building a strong and prosperous India. ठीक है. In a fair or broad aim इसका क्या है, fair and equitable world, right? It helps in discovering and informing India's choices to the world, right? यानी कि Indian voices को raise करता है, ideas को लेके आता है forum में, जिससे क्या होगा कि global debates को shape दिया जा सके. Right? This organization has a reputation of having पहला तो देखो नॉन पार्टीसन इंडिपेंडेंट है, और एक इसकी रेपुटेशन क्या है, रेपुटेशन ऑफ हैविंग वेल रिसर्च एनालिसिस एंड इनपुट्स टू डाइवर्स डिसीजन मेकर. तो इस तरह के इनपुट्स प्रोवाइड करता है टू द गवर्नमेंट, बिजनेस कम्युनिटीज, एकेडेमिया, सिविल सोसाइटी वर्ल्ड वाइड, जिससे क्या है वो एक डिसीजन ले पाए, ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट वन इम्पोर्टेंट अनाउंसमेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन फॉर दोज एस्पिरेंट्स हु आर अपीयरिंग फॉर प्रीलिम्स 2024. Apti+ Academy came up with this Nishchay test series for prelims 2024, and this is all India test series where thousands of similar aspirants would be appearing for this test and analyzing themselves. So this is a golden opportunity for you to test yourself. So benefits क्या है, आपको high quality questions मिलेंगे, recorded classes मिलेंगी. If you are not satisfied with the quality, your money will be returned. Right? Other benefits includes आपको realistic exam simulation मिलेगा to mimic the actual prelims experience. You can manage your time effectively. Why? Because the practice would be time bound. Right? Expert discussion videos की हमने बात करी ली थी. So in all, you will be able to understand or analyze your strengths and weakness area to boost your score. ठीक है. आप registration के लिए, इसके लिए either you can go to the link given in the description box, और जो QR कोड आपकी स्क्रीन पे अपीयर हो रहा है, और यू कैन स्कैन दिस. नाउ लेट्स मूव टू द प्रीलिम्स प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन विच वाज अपीयर्ड इन 2015. तो इस तरह की मैंने कहा था डिक्लेरेशंस, कॉन्फ्रेंसेस के बारे में पूछते हैं, डायलॉग्स फोरम्स के बारे में पूछ लेते हैं जो न्यूज़ में होती हैं. सो द क्वेश्चन वाज द फ़ॉर्थलीजा डिक्लेरेशन रिसेंटली इन द न्यूज़ इज रिलेटेड टू द अफेयर्स ऑफ. अगर आप करंट अफेयर फॉलो करते हैं तो आप इस तरह के क्वेश्चन बड़ी आसानी से आंसर कर सकते हैं. तो करेक्ट आंसर फॉर दिस फ़ॉर्थलीजा डिक्लेरेशन इज ब्रिक्स, राइट. सो इट वाज होस्टेड बाय द ब्राज़ील ब्रिक्स समिट दैट टाइम. होस्ट सिटी कौन सी थी, फ़ॉर्थलीजा, और जहाँ पर कोई डिक्लेरेशन हुई थी तो दैट वाज ऑन द बेस ऑफ द नेम ऑफ द सिटी फ़ॉर्थलीजा, राइट. सो दिस फ़ॉर्थलीजा डिक्लेरेशन में क्या था, इट कंटेन्स द ग्रुप्स ओपिनियन, द ब्रिक्स ओपिनियन ऑन द इशू ऑन द इंटरनेशनल एजेंडा एज वेल एज द ब्रिक्स कॉरपोरेशन. कुछ और एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन दी हुई है, यू कैन रेफर टू दिस, राइट. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining today's News in Focus session of Apti+ Academy, and I hope the discussion proves valuable for your upcoming UPSC and state PCS exams. And stay tuned for more educational content and topics useful for exams. Keep learning, keep visiting Apti+ YouTube channel, and thank you for watching. Signing off.